Hello everyone, this is Marc Colinares. Let me welcome you to another edition of HDI Cyberspace video presentation. And with us,
I am Imery Hilayo.
And I am Jonathan Daniel.
I am Rizan Morales, and together we say,
the survival of democracy depends on the renunciation of violence.
And the development of non-violent means to combat evil and advance the good.
Today, it can be generally said of a society that its rise can be rapid, but its decline is usually incremental and slow, where each event contributes to the overall outcome. Thus, each event is recognized as a precursor and catalyst on the next onset, an even graver chain of events that in totality will describe the decomposition of a society.
History suggests that once the decline begins, the affairs of the people seem to be drawn into self-destructive outcomes, as if doomed to be so.
today, most analysts will not deny that the Philippines is in decline. Opinions may differ only whether the decline is temporary or a part of a general and irreversible trend.
Sad to say that this fateful inevitability is at work in the affairs of people, leading to the decomposition of our country, where decades back was heralded as the leading nation in Southeast Asia.
It does appear in the several events in the past in our country were significant link of the chain of events that surely look like symptoms of irreversible process of decline, like in the past elections, that truly expresses the will of the nation and people's opinion were marred by cheatings, killings, and coercion that erodes people's confidence on our leaders and the democratic institutions.
And so with mismanagement, graft and corruptions in the government, and development that is not centered on people, that have all fueled erosion of people's trust and confidence in the government. For example, the Maguindanao crisis, sensationalized by the Apatuan massacre, have more crucial implications on the future course of our nation's regard of and respect for their laws and ethics.
Much so, at a time when there's great confusion and much recrimination in our body politic that aggravates the whole situation.
Indeed, the moral compass of our leaders who should lead the nation is in confused spin because of neglect, personal interest, greed for political power, and lack of political will to address the critical issues that concerns national interests.
All these, plus other factors like the economic crisis, poverty, high population growth rate, environmental degradation, and dwindling natural resources that signal the trend of our country's continuous decline.
If our history teaches us anything, it is when people consent to bending and turning their back on the rule of law that our country can look forward into an actual exercise of power by a privileged class of oligarchy and autocratic commanders-in-chief who can, like proconsuls of old, who exempt themselves on the rule of law at their pleasure.
This is exactly what happened in Maguindanao when its constituents, out of fear and poverty, consented to the bending of the law. And the many, if not all, turned their backs in the rule many of our leaders and government officials trampled the very democratic ideals and institutions that bonded us, a people and a country.
Some might say that the Maguindanao crisis is an isolated case. But looking deeper at the circumstances and underlying factors in the area prior to the massacre of 59 people, which can be construed as the rape of democracy, if I might say, are real and happening in many of our communities just waiting to burst. And if it does, with much probability, it will again catch international condemnation, which will add up to the already blemished image of our country.
And once again, this is Rizan Morales,
Jonathan Daniel,
And Imari Hilayo saying thank you for watching and hope you will disseminate this video to your relatives and friends so they too can have a wider perspective on the issues discussed.
And I am Marc Colinares. Let me end this presentation by saying that everything in nature cycles according to the rhythms of life and seasons. Nations are like human beings, are born, grow into a vigorous youth, and mature into an old age and frailty. Philippines cannot remain on top of the prestige it holds as one of the top leading nations in Asia years back, but it can also grow into an old age if we the people help into and thereby avoid an ugly death in protracted conflict and war, poverty and indebtedness, or a similar ignoble end.